to order. Can I ask everyone to, let's start with a roll call.
Barbara Barossa.
James Meyer.
Norma Drummond.
Tara Franco.
One of our members has already indicated to us that he will be late. We do have an alternate that serves in the place of a member, so Mary Seminara, you are being appointed to serve until Aziz Asan shows up for this evening's meeting. With that, can I ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. All right, very important reminder for everyone, next month's meeting will be on a Wednesday. It will not be on the usual Tuesday. There was a conflict, and so we had set our agenda for Wednesday. We have one set of minutes to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from March 11th?
As amended.
As amended, right, Barbara made some amendments today.
So is that a motion? If so,
That's
I
a
second
motion.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, great, thank you. All right, item number 1 is a decision, Appeal 3651 Cigna, Salvatore Cigna, 66 Saddle Ridge Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 19-foot sideline variance for an existing 1,100 square foot sport court and a 240 square foot shed pursuant to section 194-95C of the zoning ordinance. There is a resolution, draft decision order. Can somebody like to offer it?
This is the new one?
Read
Just a
it.
second here.
I'll do this.
Okay, thank you.
This is an application by Salvatore Cigna, 66 Saddle Ridge Drive, Hopewell Junction, New York, who's requesting a 19-foot sideline area variance for an existing 1,100 square foot sports court and a 240 square foot shed pursuant to section 194-95C of the Town of East Fishkill zoning ordinance. Section 194-95 is entitled Private Swimming Pools and Tennis Courts. Subsection C provides as follows. Setback requirements: all swimming pools and/or tennis courts shall be set from lot lines at least 25 feet from the side and rear lot lines. Such pool and/or tennis courts shall not be located in any required front yard. Amended 6/14/2001 by local law number 3-2001. In his EDA application, the applicant states that he installed the sports court in 2005. The sports court is improved by several light poles, which the board finds troublesome as they permit and even encourage late-night play, leading to excessive late noise in an R1 zoning district. In addition, the applicant states in his ZBA application that in 2013, the recreation area was determined over the property line, and as a result, instead of relocating the rather substantial sport court to be in compliance with the zoning ordinance requirements of 25 feet from a sideline, the applicant and the adjoining property owner, William M. Pettis, agreed to pursue the lot line realignment application before the town board, or before the town planning board. Therefore, the parties, Cigna at 66 Saddle Ridge Drive and Pettis at 68 Saddle Ridge Drive, engaged in the services of Don K. Miller, L.S. of Barger Miller Land Surveying, P.C., to pursue the desired lot line realignment application, wherein there would be an almost equal exchange of land, approximately 1,560 square feet, resulting in the same gross area to each lot before and after the lot line realignment. The Cigna and Pettis lot line realignment application was duly processed by the Planning Board and ultimately approved by the Planning Board resolution dated January 7, 2014. Therefore, the next step in the two-board process is the pursuit of the sideline area variance application before the board, the ZBA. The sideline area variance application was the subject of a review on October 8, 2013, and then the subject of 3 public hearings held on November 12, 2013, December 10, 2013, and March 11, 2014. This board received the testimony of the applicant and Don K. Miller, L.S. No neighbors spoke in opposition to the sideline area variance application. However, this board was very concerned in reviewing this application that it involved a substantial sport court improvement with lights placed on light poles that were determined to be between 15 and 20 feet tall. The ZBA believes that the night lights placed on the light poles could foster or lead to the use of the sports court at late hours, after 10 p.m., which could lead to noise and music at late hours in the residential zoning district. The applicant, Dr. Signa, heard and understood the board's concerns as to the effect of the lights, noise, music, and group gatherings at late hours, and the wisdom of the mitigating that impacts the same by placing restrictions on the lights in the decision and order. As a result of all the foregoing, this board hereby grants the application of Salvatore Signa requesting a 19-foot sideline variance for an existing 1,100 square foot sports court and a 240 square foot shed pursuant to section 194-95C of the town zoning ordinance, based upon the following findings among others. The granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties. The sports courts and lights have already been in existence for 9 years on a 2+ acre lot and have not been the subject of complaint to the town. The sport court and lights are also now subject to a lot line realignment application granted by the planning board and specifically granted to the neighboring owner, Mr. Pettis. The desired result can only be achieved by granting an area variance, otherwise the sports courts would have to be relocated at a very substantial cost to the applicant. The variance is substantial, but it is a necessary form of relief for this application and this applicant. The granting of the proposed sideline area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in this neighborhood. Dr. Signa clearly admits that that the need for the sideline area variance was self-created. He installed the sports court approximately 9 years ago. However, Dr. Signa also is part of the solution as he has consented to the following express conditions of this variance. Condition: within 60 days of the date of this decision and order, the applicant must execute and record a declaration of restrictive covenants in the Dutchess County Clerk's office to the satisfaction of the town, which provides in relevant part: the lights on the light pole shall be turned off no later than 10 p.m. The lights and the light pole shall be removed prior to any sale of the premise by Dr. Signa or any transfer of the premises by Dr. Signa where he is no longer entitled to the premise. The declaration shall run with the land. This is a type 2 action under secret. No further compliance is required.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Jim?
Aye.
Tara?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So the motion carries. All right, if you don't mind, pass this version to Pam, so minor corrections on there, as you read it. All right, so we are now up to the public hearings. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to comment on any of the applications before us. So we have just one public hearing this evening, and then there's going to be a bunch of reviews, some of which we've seen before, but actually most of them are going to be new. So we'll work our way through them. Item number 2, public hearing, Appeal 3665 Keeley, Michael Keeley, 15 Ethan Allen Drive, Stormville, is requesting a 7-foot sideline variance to keep a pre-existing dwelling located at 215 Rushmore Road, Stormville, which was made non-conforming by the Vargas 2-lot subdivision in 2003, filed map 12180 pursuant to section 194-17 of the zoning ordinance.
Can I recuse myself?
Okay. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So we have opened the public hearing. Mr. Keeley, if you want to come forward, just so we can just review the application real quick in case any of your neighbors might be present. So back in 2003, the owner of the property at that time, the Vargas family, came to the planning board requesting to subdivide their property to make it into 2 lots. The result was that the existing house that's on the parcel in the front is now encroaching into the setback for what should be the side yard for that property.
Correct.
But it was never intended for that house to stay on the property. The filed map clearly indicates that the intention was that that house was supposed to be destroyed or demolished, and it was going to be replaced. And there was actually a new location for a house on the map. Never happened. There was some issues with the family. They ended up selling the property. You and your family have bought the property. From our understanding, you are now looking to keep that house because it is structurally sound.
Right.
And you'd like to actually use it for, your son, your family. And so your request is to actually allow you to keep that house on the property with this very minor encroachment. Just the corner of the house, it's about, I think we said it's about 7 square feet that actually encroaches into the side yard setback. Have I reflected
Yeah,
the request adequately?
Yes.
All right, the one question that, as I was looking at this more since our last meeting, I kind of question, is there any way, have you considered moving the driveway and actually doing a lot line realignment so that you actually don't need this variance, and you just move the driveway to the other side?
you can't because it's all rock.
It's all rock.
It's all rock. I mean, not just a little rock. It's
Okay.
a steep rock. I guess I should have took a picture of that side, but.
Yeah,
No,
I
you wouldn't be
did not
able-
go out there, and
Yeah.
I am familiar with Rushmore Road,
Right.
so,
And there is a lot of rock.
there's a lot of rock on Rushmore Road.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no way to move it.
It was just making, just
Right.
the way
No,
we're...
we thought about all of that.
Okay. Yeah, and that's probably why the planning board made the lot line, made the lot line on the other side of the house. Right, I do know it was steep, I just didn't recognize that it was going to
It's
be
just
rock over on that
rock,
side.
almost straight up.
Okay, so in essence, the possibilities of any other options in terms of being
No.
able to keep the house without any other changes, your only other thing to do would be to, again, to do some other lot line realignment that might adjust moving the driveway over, or moving the lot line over just a little bit, and then maybe giving this lot in the front some property back.
You wouldn't get then the 50-foot for the rear lot. That's,
Now, the pole has to, because it's behind the other lot, so
Yeah.
you have to keep the 50 feet.
yeah.
Okay. Just looking for here it is. Because, again, just looking at options, whenever possible, we do try to not have to give variances,
I understand.
particularly in this case where it was a, determination by the planning board that it was appropriate that this should be eliminated. All right, so the way, well, the location of the house is actually in an area where you actually do have land on the other side. You want to come up here, look real quick and look at the map that I'm looking at? And if any of you want to come over, it's much easier to see it on the bigger map sometimes than on the little one. So this is your existing house, okay? And this is the lot line as it is right now, okay?
Right.
But this lot actually goes over to here,
No,
no? Is this, oh, this is it here.
this is it right here.
So you don't have the option.
If we had that over there, we'd be all set.
Right, exactly, that's what I was
Yeah,
hoping.
yeah.
All right, it's not gonna work, nope. All right, thank you, we tried. I really, like I said, I was looking for any other angle to make this work without needing a
I wish it would.
variance. We're gonna let the record reflect that Aziz is here, has joined us. Mary, thank you. All right, any questions or comments from board members? No? Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak for or against the request from Michael Keeley for a 7-foot sideline variance to keep a pre-existing dwelling located at 215 Rushmore Road in Stormville, which was made non-conforming by the Vargas two-lot subdivision? Yes, come on forward. Mr. Keeley, we'll ask you to sit down and...
Sure.
Hi, I'm Jordy Douglas. I live in the adjacent property.
Okay.
221 Rushmore Road. And I have a letter from the people who live across the street, Jeff and Estelle Shimones. And I can read the letter, or I can just talk. We have concerns because originally, as you pointed out, it is a shared driveway subdivision, correct?
I don't think it's not a shared driveway, is it?
Portion,
Are you anticipating it's going to be a shared driveway?
With the house in the back, yes.
Oh, okay, sorry, let me take a look at this.
The first number of feet is going to be...
Yes, okay, all right, go ahead.
So we have concerns because several years ago, we've both been in residence the entire time. The Shimones have been there about 40 years. I've been there about 20 years. That when this was originally put forth, we were told when the two homes are built, then the cinder block home, which is currently there,
Right.
would be taken down.
Right.
So we didn't really push the issue. We said, okay. So then we get the letter in the mail. We see the sign up that our variance is being requested. So we find this troubling because it's different than what we were originally
understand.
told.
With the original plan, it wasn't that there could be no house.
Correct.
It just had to be a new house could be
Correct.
put on.
We understand that.
So I'm not understanding what your concern is. This house isn't good enough for the area, or?
Oh, I'm not saying it's not good enough for the area, it's just that's not what we were led to believe. So the house, for instance, from mine, we look right out at it, it's a blue cinder block house. They've never kept up on it. It's been vacant for many, many years. And we were told that there would be a house put up further toward the road, which I haven't seen the map, I'm not familiar with it. So then there would be a house further toward the road. on
Closer to the
first
road?
piece. What?
Closer to the road?
Closer to the road, correct.
No, the house is actually further back.
Both the houses? Again, I'm not familiar
Where
with the
the
map.
new house would be, if you want to just come up real
That'd be
quickly,
great.
I can just show you. All right, this is the existing block house to be removed, is right here. The original map showed that the new house would be essentially right behind it.
Wait, where's the,
Here's the existing house,
correct,
all right, and
where's Rushmore?
right here.
this is Rushmore. So then this is the existing
So this is the existing house, and the original, this is the filed map, shows that the new house was just going to be essentially right behind it. So the actual encroachment is like this little corner. It's really, that's why we're saying it's 7 square feet. It's not much.
Yeah, see, again,
No, I understand. I understand. That's why we made it clear. The original planning board determination was the house should be removed. You see, the map is clearly marked. All right, do you want to share the other letter and we'll read it into the record? Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to offer before I do this?
No, ma'am.
No, so your concerns are really just that this is not what you as neighbors were told 10 years ago or 11 years ago?
Correct. It's not what we were told, and I know currently, for instance, the driveway, I mean, sir, I don't even know if you're aware, but the driveway currently encroaches on DEP property.
Yeah, I am aware.
Okay. And that's going to be,
The driveway wasn't put in the right spot? is that what
Barely.
it's-
Yeah. Yeah.
well, the house in the back hasn't been built yet
No, I am
either.
aware of it, and just so you're aware, if they do grant...
You're going to address, I'm sorry, you're going to address your comments to us?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so
I
if
just
you,
wanted to-
and please, we need you at the microphone so that your
I
voice
just wanted to make
picks
them
up.
aware, we are going to clean up the house and clean up the property. It's not going to stay the way it is. Obviously, we haven't done anything to wait to find out if we're going to be allowed to.
Mr. Keeley, can you
To keep
just
it.
state how long have you actually owned the house, the property?
We bought it in December.
Okay, so he's owned it for less than 6 months at this point,
Right.
okay?
Right.
All right, so can you tell the board what improvements you're looking to do to the house? Are you going to paint it? It sounds like it's a
Well,
lovely color.
yeah, we're not putting any additions on it. We're just, we're going to paint it, we're going to clean it up. The front steps need to be repointed, and, so some of the work, obviously, it's been sitting there. It was a rental unit,
Yeah, it's been a rental unit for...
and, it had rental people in it, so it's got to be, the inside's got to be cleaned up, carpeting, new faucets, things like that.
I think that the neighbors would be more concerned exterior-wise.
No, I
What will they
understand, but,
see in
the
terms of
yard is going to be
improvements?
cleaned up. We do plan on, not just leaving it the way it is. That just
And again, the
if that'll-
intention is your son plans to live there.
Right.
So your family will be living there.
Right.
Okay. Does that help alleviate any concerns you might have? I will still
I
read
mean,
this.
that's our plan, you know, for right now, and hopefully, you know, if they grant it, see what happens.
Yeah, again, my concerns, first of all, for the record, I had no idea the house, again, I had not seen the map, I did not know the house was going to be the new house would be as close to the current home. So the last thing I want to do is have some people, hi, tear down this house to put another one up 7 feet away.
Right, you see how
That-
close it is, right.
Okay, but it is troubling to me, just the flip-flop, but I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let me just, again, because you provided us this from your neighbors, and again, they probably, again, also did not have the benefit of the information that you've now gotten this evening, but we'll just read this. It's from Jeff, I hate to pronounce names wrong, Shmones? Okay, thank you. Subject 215 Rushmore zoning appeal. Jordy, on our behalf, please advise the board that our lack of objection to the original variance was our belief that the eyesore known as the Vargas House would forevermore be removed from the hill and our site from various vantage points at our house across the road. We have owned our home for almost 40 years and have had to look at that structure all this time. If the new owners wish to abide by the variance as approved in 2003, then we welcome the new home that they will build on the lot, hopefully farther back from the road. Okay, so you clearly understand, Mr. Keeley, that this house appears to be quite the eyesore. All right, so how quickly do you anticipate that you're going to be able to start getting some improvements done to this property now that spring appears to have arrived?
Yeah, hopefully soon now that the snow is melting.
Okay, do you need this back, or can we give it to the clerk for the record?
I don't need that.
Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak for or against the request from Mr. Keeley? Seeing none,
We're going to make a reserved decision on this?
probably.
I think you have a proposal.
Yeah, all right, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing and reserve our
Yes.
decision?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, so we're not going to give you an answer tonight. Similar to what we did with Dr. Signer, we're going to prepare a resolution so that we're laying out any of the concerns, anything that we heard from neighbors tonight, so that we're clear on our decision. So we do have 62 days. Usually, though, we do try to make the decision at the next meeting, okay? You do not have to be here, but if you're certainly welcome to be here, okay? Thank you. All right, so now that's it for the public hearings this evening. So now we're on item number 3, which is a review, Appeal 3657, Mid-Hudson Development Corp. The actual applicant has actually withdrawn their application, so I just need a motion by the board to refund $45 of their application fee.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. All right, same thing for item number 4.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Again, the applicant has withdrawn their application, so we are just approving the refund. Item number 6, Appeal 3666 Sarlo, Rick Sarlo, 1082 Route 82, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 35% variance for a 1,300 square foot caretaker's apartment located in a 1,535 square foot building in a B1 zone pursuant to Section 194-87A of the zoning ordinance, and a 7-foot sideline variance for existing pavement and to allow vehicles within the side yard pursuant to Section 194-109 of the zoning ordinance. All right, when last we met, we had a pretty thorough discussion about the layout of the property, the layout of the building itself, the interior space of the building. We were getting to really trying to understand how many residential units and what other uses were within that building. We did agree at the last meeting that at least I was going to go out and do a site visit. I did actually meet Mr. Sarlo on the property on Sunday evening. I appreciated his accommodating the fairly late hour. I had already done a drive-by and I noticed that there were lights on upstairs as well as downstairs, but not in the front of the building. And I did notice, and we talked about the fact that there are 3 meters on the side of this little house. It is very, I will tell you, a review of the building department records and visiting the property, there are probably there are more bathrooms in this building, in this tiny building, than there are in my house. So that was part of our concern. There was a bathroom upstairs, there was a bathroom downstairs, and there were 2 bathrooms on the first floor. So it reasonably raised some concerns in terms of the use of the space. It is very clear to me that there is 1 apartment in there, 1 residential unit. The first 20 or so feet of the building is very clearly an office space, office use. There is a bathroom in there, again, because of the nature of just having a business. The back part with an access through the back is the single apartment, and it is a 2-bedroom apartment, but it's very reasonably sized. The upstairs is definitely not residential. It's not a full ceiling. There are no curtains on the window. There's no kitchen. It's storage. It was not even like the possibility that a bed got moved out. There was no question. It's not residential space upstairs. It is clearly storage. It is accessible, which is the very weird thing to me. It is accessible. You have to go up through the tenant's apartment to get upstairs, which is what, I think part of the reason that you were actually asking for the request.
Right.
But, and aside from your tenant storing some stuff up there, it's just storage. It is not really part of the apartment, and the fact that there is no egress, no alternate egress out of there, there's 1 way up, there's no second way out of there. I really would not encourage it to actually be made residential space as part of the apartment. So for that reason, we did discuss the fact that your professional, Mike Gillespie, did do an analysis of the square footage. Do you have that? Because I didn't write down, I don't have the numbers. I'm remembering 1444 was the total square footage of the, we're actually thinking the variance for the residential space, we don't even need to pursue that, because we actually don't want to make it part of the apartment.
That's what I was thinking all along.
Yes.
That should be closed off and not be granted.
It's a condition of the tenant who rents the space that Mr. Sarlo has
right.
access
Yeah.
for him to be able to get to the materials that he stores up there. So the first floor area is 1,063 square feet. The second floor area is 381 square feet. The total building area is 1,444. The square footage of the apartment, based on just looking at a floor plan, Mr. Gillespie had determined to be 730 square feet, which in fact puts it about 8 feet over. But actually, when you go in the rear entrance, you go into a landing, you're not walking right into the apartment. So you actually would lose that 8 square feet right by the fact that back landing, you lose this. So the residential unit does not exceed the 50% of the building.
Is there any way to put a door up to close off that landing from the apartment?
No, you have to go through the landing.
You have to go through that landing to get to the door into the apartment. It kind of creates,
Okay. But there is a door to the apartment?
yeah, that you,
So that,
not from outside.
No.
From outside, there's one door that brings you into a landing, so that if it's cold or raining, you can get inside.
Right.
And then you get out your keys to get into the apartment.
It's like an
okay,
enclosed
I wasn't,
porch.
I thought it was open right into the
No,
apartment.
no. It is, there's a door from the outside, there's a light overhead, so you step inside, and then from there, though, then there's another door to get into the apartment.
Okay.
All right, so that's why I'm just saying that landing would actually subtract the 8 square feet, which puts it under the 50%.
I mean, that's, again, really not living space, it's like an enclosed.
Not living
entrance.
space, right. It's a landing. So, all right, so I'm not, I don't agree that a variance is even needed related to the residential space. So that now we're back to the issue of the use outside. Again, the property is meticulous. My only concern that I identified to Mr. Sarlo is he does have a well coming out in it's in his parking area, actually. It is close to the building, and it's only protected by some
Marcus,
sticks in the ground that have reflectors at the top.
Reflectors.
And it just worried me that a plow could so easily just push that away. Although I'm sure you probably, do your own plowing and stuff, but, so that would be the only thing
Yeah.
that certainly I would recommend, that you put up some kind of permanent bollards or something just to protect your well.
yes, definitely.
But again, the property is beautifully maintained. I think we would want to encourage the business use on that property, his ability to be able to park cars for display purposes. The application that's before the planning board, again, they'll deal with all the site planning issues related to the use of this, but we're being asked to allow the extra pavement for him to be able to put some display cars up. All right, so.
Who's going to grant a special permit for the apartment? Because it still needs a special permit.
The apartment itself needs a, doesn't it already exist? Somebody's living there. The apartment already exists.
That exists,
That's a caretaker's apartment? They
Yeah,
get a
he-
special permit for that and everything already?
that was from day
It was
one. when
never
I-
part of the application, a variance was requested for it, but not.
Or was
Oh,
it-
it's just saying, one occupancy apartment shall not exceed 50%,
Right.
But only one such special permit for an apartment shall be permitted where the same owner owns contiguous land. In order to minimize residential use in a B1 zone, it should be a condition that such an apartment can constructed or maintained pursuant to a special permit. So it's referencing that
Okay,
it,
but when he was before the plan, I read the minutes from the 2003 planning board discussion.
That was
It
already
was
done.
clear his daughter was living in the apartment back in 2003.
okay.
So the site plan approval at that time clearly would have
Okay.
indicated
So
that
it's
there
already-
was a.
it's already been done.
Yeah, and so I don't think that's an issue that's before us. It's clearly been a
Yeah, that was
residential
my
use for
impression
more
as
than
well
10 years.
from the- That was my impression from the prior review, that was
I just wanted
approved
to
as
make
part
sure
of the
you
site
didn't go away
plan.
without getting something that
Is it an issue that it's a separate tenant, not?
No, as long as the person has some responsibility for caretaking the property.
Yeah, he watches
And
the
he
place
did,
for
is
me.
he parks in the back and he picks up on the property and, so, like I said, the property was very, very nicely maintained. I
Thank you.
truly had no issue with that at all. All right, so again, recognizing that the extra pavement would be used for the purpose of helping his business do well, and for the purpose of displaying cars. Are there any comments or concerns from board members, or are we okay to schedule a public hearing?
I'm good.
Yeah. Yep, that's the well,
Right in
exactly.
the middle of the driveway.
And it's just, I worry about it.
So,
I'll be honest with you, I worried about it for many years, but I market so well, but I do have to put the concrete ballages, I
Yeah,
do.
just something to protect it.
Even for my own peace of mind.
All right?
so if that was a motion, I second it.
We're a little weak on our motions
I
tonight,
thought
I
maybe
think.
just making a proclamation is good, I don't know.
Motion to advertise.
And the second, all in favor? Aye, all right, so you see Pam, she'll give you instructions for your sign.
Okay.
And then we'll see you next month.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Again, thank you for meeting me Sunday. All right, item number 7, Appeal 3667 Hyatt, Elwin Hyatt, 2604 Route 52, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 63-foot front line and 10-foot sideline variance for a pre-existing non-conforming house built prior to 1922, which is located in a B1 zone, and a 10-foot front line variance and 530-square-foot variance for a proposed 1,280-square-foot detached garage pursuant to Sections 194-120 and 194-107C of the zoning ordinance.
I'm going to recuse myself.
Okay? Good evening.
Good evening, Dennis Link with the hearing. As you mentioned, we're here to discuss the Lands of Hyatt. It's located along 52 and Hauser Mountain Road. There is an existing structure, a two-story structure that's there. We are requesting a 60-foot, 63-foot variance. It's an existing non-conforming lot along the front here, and also the same thing on the side, 10-foot setback, or variance for the setback along the side. Both the structure is existing, pre-existed the code. We were directed to come here just to kind of clean it up. What we're proposing is this garage, detached garage, located off to the southeast of the property. We're showing it's 90 feet. We're required to have the 100 feet from the edge of 52, so we're requesting a 10-foot variance along this side, and then also the square footage of the actual garage itself.
Okay. My understanding is that Mr. Hyatt no longer owns the,
Correct.
okay, and so part of the reason for his need for storage at this point is because he no longer has the business property next door?
Correct. The intent of the garage is to actually store vintage cars that he owns.
Okay. So, because the first question would be why a typical garage would be 24 by 24, 26 by 26?
There's several
So-
cars that you'd like to store in
Okay.
there.
So again, he's requesting 32 by 40. I don't know that the 40 feet doesn't necessarily impact anything, but we could reduce the 10-foot from the front yard.
Along here?
Actually, we can't, because going 32 feet down to 26 or 24 only reduces it 6 or 8 feet. So we would still need a variance,
Yes.
but we could just minimize it. Now, this is a tiny lot. I drove
Yes.
by it the other day just to be sure I was understanding which one it was. Is there an existing shed on the property now, or no? There was a yellow,
There's a small existing shed that's there that's going to be removed.
that's going to be removed, okay. So it's essentially, it's in the location of the shed that's there now.
The shed is located right here, so it'll be
Right.
right behind
Well,
that.
much bigger, but thereabouts. Okay. And my understanding as well is that now that again, because the garage has been sold, that he's actually donating the blacksmith shop that was on the property there. He's donating it to the Historical Society for the town. So it was an old family business that is being donated, and so they're working on being able to get that moved to the Kenilworth site. So, so certainly there's a benefit to the town from Mr. Hyatt's history there.
I guess that existing blacktop parking is for the garage? That's encroaching on there?
Correct.
So,
Has there been an easement granted of that? What's going to happen with that, do you know?
There is not an easement, no. Right now, I don't know what the intent is for.
is it a use, is it in use by the business?
Yes.
Ooh, we need to
Yeah.
get that cleaned up.
Yeah.
Okay. Any idea how your client might propose to clean that up?
I can discuss it with them to see what their intent is.
Okay. Is your expectation that the new property owners will just cease and desist using that property, or is he likely to be needing to move the property line?
I don't know what the agreement is now with the new property owner, if they're planning on using that or not.
Yeah, I know, but it is a business lot, but, so they could do a cross-access easement where he could give, that's probably the easiest way, exactly, because the zoning would allow the use of that. The dilemma is, do we go to public hearing not with that not being clear?
Well, we're going to have to know that, that's for sure.
Right.
I don't-
What?
You have to know what to advertise.
How soon do we have to advertise? For May 14th, so it's a little later in May.
Next Thursday, the letters go out.
Okay, how quickly do you, I mean, unless the board has other questions, how quickly do you think you can get an answer from your client about that?
Hopefully within a day or two.
Okay? Like by the end of this week or Monday at the
Yes.
latest?
So this be assigned.
Are we, if he does a cross-access easement with the neighbor, with the property owner next door now that allows the continued use of that, are we okay with that?
Can it be done in such a short notice?
You could do that quickly.
I think Mr.
in the code that says you can't have
Multiple uses.
from one.
I mean, it's just, that's the problem, it's just not access, it's parking.
That's not the code?
No, because we did it someplace else.
It might just be like it's residential or something. But it's not, this is also.
And again, as Jim mentioned, it is not access, it's parking.
Right.
And so access would bring other issues with parking.
Well, the code allows.
But it is a
just
business
access.
use. This is business property. This is B1 property. It's a,
Yes.
problem is it's just a use not by this owner. That's where the cross-access comes in.
Is the cross-access just for access as opposed to using the property for other purposes?
We did it
Then
once
you have
before.
And if it's business and you're,
Where's the town attorney when you need him?
I can ask them that, it's not.
I mean, that's, I don't know if that delays us, I think we put on.
All right, is there an urgency that we have to get this done try to get this done for May, or can we get these issues
They'd like
resolved?
to push it along. I mean, I don't have a doubt that we have an answer
Is
to
he
you.
looking to start construction anytime soon, is our?
I believe he is looking to start relatively soon.
I think there's something that you
Yeah, but,
Can I make a suggestion?
yeah, go ahead.
Can I make a phone call and come back after the next?
Actually, I like that suggestion. If you don't mind,
Okay,
go
that's
ahead.
not- that's
If you
not a
mind,
problem.
we'll put you on for a second call, and
Okay,
when we're
thank
done
you.
everything else, we'll get back to you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, yes, really, we appreciate that assistance there. Mary, could you go grab Pam and John? Either Mary.
Do we need more variances here, too? I mean, this is a front, and this is a front, right? They're both front.
Right.
But
They're only
it's
a
business. Business, remember, it's B1, it's not.
It's B1, 100 feet front, 10 feet side yards, 20 feet rear.
Yeah, he's calling this a sideline. This is a front, too, correct? Or is not for a business? But they ask Pam whenever they come back.
Yeah, because normally it
This
would
would
be
be-
because this
this
is
is
a
the-
public road, not a private road. So, all right, let's resolve this one when we come back to
Yeah.
it later. All right, we are on now item number 8, Appeal 3668, Calcutta, Joseph Calcutta, 131 Martin Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 15-foot sideline variance for a proposed 26-foot by 28-foot detached garage pursuant to Section 194-107C of the zoning ordinance. Good evening. So this is the first we're seeing of your application. If you don't mind, if you could take us through what you're looking for and why.
Well, we're looking to build a 20, well, you have the size there, right? The garage, just for storing vehicles. The property's very narrow, so I don't really have many options.
Okay, actually, Pam, isn't this now 5 feet? Didn't we agree this is 5 feet?
Yes.
Okay, so it's actually not 15 feet, folks. It's actually only a 5-foot sideline variance.
Oh, okay.
Because you have an undersized lot.
Oh, okay.
And so because of that, that condition actually reduces the side yard that you need.
Oh, okay.
I guess the question that I had in looking at your application, I understand you definitely have a weird lot to work with. But why are you detaching this from your home?
Because
Why
I-
can't you attach it so that it like becomes part of the foundation
I
of
would
your?
prefer to do that, but I just don't see an option, a way to do it, because there's a septic behind it. You're driving the side of it, in the side of the house there,
You're driving the side of the house, right?
Right,
So
right
where's
behind.
your septic?
behind it. Like where the third bay would be for the garage.
Okay, because the dilemma that you're gonna have is you can't just put in an 8-foot retaining wall.
Okay,
You're gonna have to get engineering related to that.
Okay.
But if the foundation for the shed actually became
Garage.
part of, if the foundation for the garage actually
Yeah.
was your wall, then
right.
it's not as, I'm trying to understand what's the purpose of the 8-foot retaining wall?
Well, my
as opposed to
property-
moving it closer to your house.
Right, I could move it a little bit closer, but I just wanted to have a little bit of room between the two, you know.
All right,
Just
but right
what-
now you're proposing.
What I draw, 15 feet?
15 feet.
I could bring it forward another 5 feet, I guess. I just want to be able to fit a vehicle through there, you know?
Fit a vehicle between there?
Yeah, my shed back there and stuff, if, my truck, right?
Where's your shed?
Oh,
We don't have a shed
yeah, I
on
didn't
your
draw it
survey.
on there. I should have drawn it on there, right?
Yeah, or-
It's a small 8x8 little plastic
You
shed.
want truck access to the shed.
What's that?
You want truck access to the shed.
Yeah, I just wanted to be able to fit my vehicle through there, but I mean, I would love to connect it to the house. I just can't see a way to do it with the septic tank there. And my fields go way over to the other side, but the tank is right there, 10 foot from the house.
And then the deck, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
so
the
it's
deck's
your
behind.
tank that you're talking about, not the field?
No, not the fields. The fields are on the
Okay.
other side.
Got
It's
it.
just the tank, the septic tank, and then it comes out
Well,
to
you're
a
not gonna-
distribution box.
Right, but you're not driving over your tank, right?
No, not over the tank, no.
Okay, all
No.
right.
Plus, they're humongous.
Can I ask you to come on up for a second, because is this your shed? This is your lot,
Yes, yeah.
right?
Well, kind of.
This is your
It's
lot?
in that area, yeah, that could be it. That's over the property line, though.
And the line might be off a little bit.
Yeah, that's-
But this is definitely not 25 feet in,
You're right.
so.
It's just I mean, I could pick it up and move it.
You're Good answer.
It's made plastic.
Okay, good answer. You are going to pick it up and move it in, all right? Otherwise, you need another variance, and then then this all becomes
Yeah, it's,
a lot bigger deal, okay?
yeah, it's just a,
That's
when I say
fine.
truck access, I don't need it to get to the, it's not like a humongous shed.
No,
It's a
and
small little
we've had
shed. I
people
just wanna
before- We've
store
had
'em.
people who wanted a separation between the garage, because they need to get the mower in between there, or they
Right.
need some other,
It's really for
access
my
in between
plow,
there.
to put my plow behind, so it's not sitting in front of my garage all the time. Just to get it,
Okay.
by my, out of the way,
All right.
basically.
Is the ground level? Does it drop off?
It drops off.
Okay, so you're going to be bringing in fill to do this?
Yes, we will. We'll have to bring in a little bit of fill. That's what the retaining wall's for,
Okay,
for the fill.
well, and that's what I'm getting. If you're
Right.
putting a retaining wall in, it appears you need to be able to make this level. Have you gotten a sense of how much fill you need to be able to bring in?
Not exactly. I mean, I have an idea of the size of the area I'm gonna fill, but I couldn't tell you exactly how many yards of
Because there is
soil.
a limit on how much
Right. I thought
fill
it
you
was
can
quite a
bring in
bit though,
one
isn't it?
year. Yeah, but
I'm saying it's only an area that's probably about, to give you an idea, I would say about 10 foot by 10 foot maybe, and about, at the deepest point, 8 feet deep. Which, I
where
mean, that's
you're,
probably a
and again, maybe
formula
you
for
didn't
it.
draw this to scale, but
I
where you
didn't.
drew in the 8-foot retaining wall,
Right.
if there's a 15-foot distance between where you're saying the garage is going to be and the house,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably 7.5 feet. So if it's 7.5 feet behind an 8-foot retaining wall,
Yeah, I don't follow what you were
that's
saying.
also 26 feet wide. That's why I'm concerned about how much of fill you're bringing in.
You lost me though, I'm sorry, could you explain?
Come on up
that?
again.
All right.
Might be easier to just show you. See this distance here, 15 feet?
Right.
See this distance here? That's probably about half of this. So that's
Okay,
probably about
right.
7.5 feet. 7.5 feet by 8 feet high by 26 feet wide, and probably even more than that, because you go a little bit beyond.
Right.
That could be a considerable amount of fill.
Yeah, well, the hill doesn't start till about here.
Well, if you bring the shed forward,
That's why we're saying, why do you bring the shed forward and,
You're gonna get some fill from the excavation for the footings and stuff.
Yeah, no, I can bring it forward, I mean, the 15
it might
feet
save
is
you a
just
whole lot of work.
Yeah, all right.
Unless for some reason you specifically needed room around the back of the garage.
No, I
But all
don't.
you're doing otherwise is creating an area you gotta mow and maintain.
Well, I was just doing it so that there was a little bit of an area, and you're not gonna, so I could build a fence or some side for the retaining wall, that's all. But I agree.
You agree you can make it part of the foundation, it just would be cleaner, simpler?
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a builder help me do that, so that drawing's mine, but he did it on a bigger scale, and I didn't want to have to give you guys this humongous print.
Accuracy is more important than worrying about how big it is, all right? It really
Well, that
is.
was pretty much exactly what he did there.
Okay.
and this is going to be one story?
What's that?
One story?
Oh,
the
yes,
garage?
yeah. Yeah, it's just to store 2 vehicles.
Do other neighbors have detached garages?
Yeah, I can show you pictures of my neighbors.
I mean,
We actually have an aerial, so.
if you stay 10 feet away from your sideline, can't you just pull alongside the garage you're putting up when you
Sorry,
get
say
the
that
truck in?
again?
If you're keeping 10 feet between the garage and your sideline,
Yeah.
why can't you just have a gradual slope that goes down alongside your garage to get to the back?
It's,
This is a
well,
neighbor?
when it gets further back, it drops
next
off
to
a
our
little more.
driveway.
I mean, I'm okay with moving it forward. I mean, if I can't fit my truck through there, I'll figure a way to get my plow through there without it.
I'm just saying, it might again be for the same reasons. But if you got 10 feet along, it seems to me you can make a gradual, what am I looking at here?
That's
Oh,
the
my
neighbor's
Yeah,
garage?
it's right next door to me, on that side, so I mean, that's why I've been looking at every day,
Oh,
so.
boy.
I'm gonna put in, I plan on putting something nice.
What materials are you going to use?
Well, I was gonna do it like a pole barn structure.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to make an 8-foot high retaining wall.
Yeah, no, like I said, I was, the guy that helped me that built my house, he talked me into that.
Oh, yeah,
He
'cause
does
you're
this
gonna
all the
pay for it,
time.
that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I could do it
I'm joking
the,
about it, but yeah.
right, yeah,
Can we
not
have
funny.
these for the file?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I
marking
just,
them the garage next door.
yeah, right on that side too, so the other side, you know.
If
I
you pull
just-
it closer, leave more room, you
I'm
drive
okay with that.
alongside it, yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what is the best way to do this.
We
I-
requested the max, so if we can
Right,
get less.
Yeah, if you guys say no, and now you're telling me it's only a 5-foot variance, I mean.
Right, it's only a
I would
5-foot.
shrink the garage then if you want me to, you know?
Well, but
I'd like to
I don't
fit 2
think
cars
the
in
garage-
I'm
there.
not, yeah, I'm not sure we're worrying about the
Okay.
sideline so much. I think we're just trying to figure out why are you putting it so far back? And-
Just to give myself a little bit of a breathing room, kind of. I mean, I would love to attach it to the house, I really would. I don't want to
I
have,
don't understand why you're not making your house bigger, make a second floor, another master
We
bedroom
talked about
above
that.
there.
it's just 2 of us, so. 2 people, we got plenty of room.
Is there a
Hey,
garage
hey,
in the
hey,
existing house?
What's that?
Is there a garage?
Yes.
There is a
There's
garage.
yeah, 2 car under there. So we have a few cars, so.
I mean, 26 feet by 28 feet really is, I'm not concerned about that as
Okay.
much because 26 feet wide is pretty much a standard garage, all
yeah.
right? So that's not being unreasonable if you're looking for a 2-bay garage.
And the reason I went 26 instead of any wider was kind of because any wider would put it behind my house, if you see there.
Yeah.
That's with
Yeah.
the measurements. Not that I wanted to go much wider, but I said, what's another, a line right up, so.
Okay, and clearly by the pictures that you've provided us, having a detached garage is not, you would not be bringing down the character of the neighborhood. All right, any concerns or comments from board members?
No, I think we go forward on this.
Is that a motion?
Motion to advertise, yes, please.
All in favor? Aye. All right, let's just, the 5-foot I think is clear, just if you could, before the next meeting, please submit a new drawing
Okay, bring it down, drop it off
and
like.
show us where the shed is going to be located.
Okay. No
Or
problem.
if it, where it is
I won't need it now,
located at the
probably.
time that we are doing the public hearing.
Okay,
All right, see Pam, though, she'll give you your instructions for putting a sign up on your property.
all right, thank you.
All right, we'll see you next month, all right? All right, number 9, Appeal 3669 Kirsch, Eric and Corey Kirsch, 251 Blue Hill Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 2-foot variance for an existing 6-foot fence which is located in front of the rear line of the dwelling, as well as on the property line pursuant to Section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, again, first time we're seeing your application, so if you could take us through
Sure.
what
We
you're looking for.
we have a white vinyl fence on our property, and we're requesting a variance for the 6-foot fence. In certain sections, it is less than 2 feet from the property line, which is code. And then certain sections are alongside of the house, which is not code also, if I'm correct. So we are requesting
Okay,
a
so some of the
variance
fencing was pre-existing when you
Yes.
bought the house.
Yes.
But then it appeared you just extended it, not realizing that
That
going
it was
above
an
the
issue.
6 feet was an
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
Okay.
we were told, we were curious at the time, like how this kind of had passed through when we purchased the house. And we were told in 2005, things were so incredibly busy that some things had kind of fallen through the cracks.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
was a little questionable to us, however.
Well, the only time you have to be 2 feet in is if you're approaching the 6-foot height. 4 foot can go on the lot.
No, but when we purchased the
The
house, there
house.
was a 6-foot fence already.
In the rear of the house?
No,
Very
no,
good.
alongside between the two,
The driveway.
the two driveways.
Oh, on the driveway?
Yes. That was pre-existing.
I thought you were
Okay.
putting the 6 foot up, following the 4-foot
But,
fence.
but,
Okay.
but now you've now put up new fence along the one side of the house?
Which we had
That goes from
done. It
the
was-
house to the fence?
Yes.
Okay, and so explain why why that needs to be 6 feet there.
When we moved in and the fence had gone down the one side of our house, we had then continued it down the other side to match what was already there, obviously just for aesthetics. And then off the front of the house, there's a 4-foot picket fence that matches up with the 6-foot, and a 4-foot picket fence that matches up on the other side as well.
I think I submitted some pictures of the fencing as well.
Yeah, I'm looking. Sorry, we're,
No, that's okay.
so at the bottom of your driveway is a 4-foot fence?
When you're looking straight ahead.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's not
And
an
you can
issue.
see next to it is the 6-foot higher fence.
Yeah, and that was existing all the way down between the two driveways, all the way down that right side. We had put the 4-foot at the bottom of the driveway. We had put the 4-foot chain link fence at the bottom of the property, and then the 6-foot along the other side, all the way up to the front of the house, not knowing that the 6-foot needed to be the rear due to the fact that the existing was already established.
Okay, and so, board members, if you look at the first picture, you see what's in the driveway of the neighbor. So I can certainly understand why along your driveway you would want a 6-foot fence.
What is that, pontoon boat?
Yeah, they just,
And looks like some stuff next to it as well.
Yeah,
Although, like, you know, it looks in front like it's just a pile of snow, but
yeah,
not sure.
maybe.
But the cover of it is certainly not attractive. So I can understand the 6-foot fence on that side. So, but let's get to the other side now. Oh, so in front of the house, at the,
we have, we have
4 feet again.
4 feet from the front out to where we anticipated
to the
the
side
property.
yard, right.
Yes. And then we went 6 down, so we don't have 6.
oh, so you extended this forward more now?
No.
No, okay.
It's along the front.
But it's now, it's in front of the rear line of the house.
Yes.
That's the difference.
That's the issue, sorry,
Yeah.
if we weren't clear on that.
Okay.
And then on the
Again, you're,
side opposite the garage, that's all fencing you put up, correct?
We did that side, yes.
Oh, so that now runs down the whole driveway now?
No, the opposite drive, no, the
When
side,
you're,
the
when you're
opposite
looking
side of
at-
the driveway, they put all that up to match the driveway side.
yes.
Yes.
When you're looking at our house from the road, on our driveway side, that was all pre-existing.
Okay.
From the driveway all the way down. And then we did the left side of the house, the 6-foot to match, and then the 4-foot.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, if we look and see what's in the other yard on the other side of the 6-foot fence, I can understand why you need a 6-foot fence on that side. Okay. See, pictures tell us a lot of things. Oh my gosh, look at the tarp over the, whatever that is.
That's a pontoon boat, yes.
It's not even, all right.
Just sticking out in the middle like a sore thumb.
And there's a basketball attached to a basketball net attached to the house. Never seen that before. With ladders and, all right, do I have a motion to schedule this for public hearing?
Are you good as these?
I'm trying to figure out, I mean, again, if it can be reduced, because I do understand, I do understand the LP tank, I do understand the LP tank or oil tank on one side.
And at least the front is a
The front-
4-foot.
Yeah, 4 foot, yeah, and it,
It's just the fact that it extends behind, in front of the rear
Front of the
line.
rear,
It doesn't
front
go
of the-
to the front of the house.
Yeah, if it went beyond the front of the house, then I think I'd
Yeah.
have much more of a
motion to
concern.
advertise, okay, guys.
All right, this is, unfortunately, we understand, you have some
Thank you.
Thank you.
uses that are.
Want a second?
I have a motion, do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, we will see you next month. Please see Pam, she'll give you your instructions.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 10, Appeal 3670, Schiaffino? Schiaffino, thank you. Alfred Capelli Jr., representing Robert and Kathleen Schiaffino, 50 Long Hill Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 4-foot front line variance for a proposed addition pursuant to Section 194-17 of the zoning ordinance.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So again, first time we're seeing your application. Could
Not a
you-
problem. We submitted a little packet there, a little narrative, little site plan, the survey, little thumbnail sketch of what we're looking to do.
So you're proposing a living room addition, front entry vestibule extension, and covered portico.
That's correct.
Okay?
We're all the way up there at the top of the mountain up there overlooking the pond.
Is the property, is the house, is the addition going to be visible from the road?
There is, as you come up on the right side of the property, there's some heavy shrubbery, but in the center, I'm going to say it's kind of clear. You can see the pond. If you notice the driveway on the survey and on my plot plan, not the driveway, the curb
Yeah.
of the paved driveway. We're way up there.
Right.
So,
Yeah, the right-of-way there is
yes,
extensive.
So part of the-
Without the right-of-way, you wouldn't have needed this variance.
right. So,
Okay.
so that's a little bit of my argument, if you will, is the fact that I have another 50 feet,
Right.
if you will, between my property line and the curb. So,
And just for the nature of the road, it doesn't make sense to try to acquire any of that property from the town. No, it's not.
probably not.
Imagine that, dealing with the zoning board is easier than other things. So it's a front yard setback by 4 feet. And really, if you, to reduce it to 0 would mean what?
Making the living room probably inside 10 and a half feet. So you figure 15 foot outside, 14 foot 6 inside, 4 feet would cut me down to 10 foot 6 living room. There's
Which
no
is-
point in doing it.
Right, the expense
Sure,
associated with
sure.
it. It's not, a little bit more than a bedroom at that point.
Yes.
Questions or comments for board members?
And it has to go in that location, you couldn't put it on the,
On the left, on the right side of the house, as you look at it, newly buried, not that's, you know, that's always newly buried LP tank on that side, couple of AC condensing units, the electric service. Not that that's always the case, but just from a design point of view, we wanted to integrate the living room and the portico and the vestibule rather than even contemplate a living room on the right side and then put a little pimple out the front for the enlargement of the raised ranch entry vestibule and a little covered portico. That just wasn't in our thought process there. We thought this was a little bit more cohesive in terms of the design, so.
It's more attractive than just making the raised ranch longer,
Perhaps.
unless you love raised ranches.
Is there no, the lot next door is not developed yet?
The one immediately to the right or to the left?
To the right?
Well, if you're looking at the tax map, you can't look at that because
No, I'm looking at an aerial.
at the aerial, oh, I see that. Yes, you're absolutely right.
I'm just thinking in
Yep,
terms of
yep.
neighbors and who you're impacting.
Yeah, up
Again,
there-
if somebody's house, where this house is,
Sure.
appears to be along the line with the other houses.
Yes.
So one would think that the house going in next door at some point, but again, if this addition is there first, then they would, you know, be aware of that before they build that house.
Agreed.
As opposed to the other, house on the other side is closer to the road, but other things going on with that one.
I mean, it's a pie-shaped
Yeah, it's a,
lot, and so you really don't have much
Right.
area to move around. I mean, I'm good, I can, motion to advertise?
Are you asking or telling?
I'm making a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right.
thank you very much.
Pam will give
Pam,
you
I'll
your
see Pam tomorrow.
instructions.
Thank you.
Please mark the sign with a Sharpie, please, so it doesn't wash off in rain.
No? I got it.
Yeah, okay.
You better do what Pam says.
Got to keep her happy. Item number 11, Appeal 3671, I don't want to say this wrong, Paups? You got it. Got it, okay. Craig Paups, 128 Binnewater Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 13-foot sideline variance for a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling and an expansion of a non-conforming use to add a second-story addition to the dwelling pursuant to Sections 194-17 and 194-123. All right, so your application. Why, okay, so the dwelling is already there. In this case, all you're looking to do is just add the second story.
That's correct.
Do you know what the existing square footage of the home is?
Yes, I do. Actually, I'm not Craig, by the way. I'm Steve Whalen. I'm the architect.
Okay,
Just
that's
wanted
fine.
to just get that for the
That's
record.
fine. I appreciate that.
The existing house, the total footprint
Yeah,
is about 1,285.
okay,
The house is 835, and the existing deck is 450 square feet.
okay,
What we're proposing to do is remove most of the house and rebuild it within the same footprint.
Okay,
So the house will now be, the footprint of the house will be 1,100 square feet,
okay.
and the remaining deck will be about 150. So we're really taking away part of the deck. We want to expand the second, there's part of the house right now is 1.5 stories,
Okay,
and the half story is just that. I mean, it is very, very tight. So we want to raise up the plate height, bring it up to code. Want to renovate the first floor and put in a small addition, because right now their living room is only about 10 feet wide, but it's about 20 feet long. So we want to give them some more living space, because they have like a kitchenette. They don't even have like a kitchen. There's no formal eating area.
This was really just a cottage.
Yeah, it's a very small house, and we want to stay within the footprint, but we do realize that the northernmost side of the house is only 13 foot 10 from the northern property line.
okay. So it's not a matter of being able to move this, we're just, by the placement of the house, it's an existing non-conforming use, and you're actually just looking to do an improvement to the house.
That's correct.
So I don't see any objection on my, certainly not on my part. Any comments from board?
So basically, you're just removing the old structure completely and putting a
Well,
brand new structure on the previous footprint?
On the existing foundation, yeah, we will
Yeah,
provide
you're not taking the foundation out.
No, whatever foundation is there, we're going to leave, repair, because there are parts of it that are in sad shape. I was told, I met with the builder out there and the homeowner, and we were told there's a lot of bedrock out there. So I can only imagine what we're going to encounter when we do remove the flooring. But both the builder and the homeowner have been inside the crawl space. They said it's in very, very sad shape. So instead of trying to keep what's there and try to scab on new, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more cost effective to kind of remove what's there now, stay within the same footprint, and
Well, that's
provide a new
what
structure.
I'm sort of wondering, maybe because utilities and stuff, but if you're going to be removing the foundation, why not move the house?
No, we're not going to move the foundation, because they have a partial basement right now.
It sounds like it's in bad shape. And you need to do a lot of work
You're-
anyway.
So you're bringing it
We're
down to the
assuming.
basic foundation to repair it all and then rebuild.
If we have to.
Okay.
Just from the outside, what we can see, the basement that's there, it's a small basement, it's maybe like 10 by 10. That's in great shape. But around the rest, it's all crawl, it's all crawl space.
Okay.
So isn't it possible to move it further? I mean, because, I mean, you have crawl space right now, and you have a basement that's 10 by 10. Isn't it possible to sort of reduce the non-conformity by moving it further? Because you've got a lot of land around your current foundation, and so that you have room to move around with.
Is it on an elevation? It doesn't look like it's flat here.
Yeah, it grades from the, I have the,
Looks like it's
actually,
going up toward the back of the house.
and these are actually the proposed drawings here, proposed elevations, and on the side, you can see, not so much on the south side, but on the north side, it takes off
Yeah.
quite a bit. And then it continues from here, it levels off a little bit, but then across the back, where it's
It
all
goes
wooded,
up, right, okay.
it takes off very steep. But for us to actually pick the house up, quote unquote, and
Okay.
move it, we'd have to move the basement too, which means we have to excavate that.
Well,
Because
let's
that's,
ask that question. Which side of the house is the basement on, the property line or the opposite line?
Yeah, show us on your drawing what part of the house is going to stay. Let's put it that way, right? I think that will help.
Yeah.
On the drawing down below, what part of it, what's,
originally, we were gonna try and keep, there was one section right here. We were
Okay.
gonna try and keep, because this roof is actually down here further.
okay,
So this is what we were gonna keep. This right here, that's part of the basement.
okay.
Is that on the property line side?
Correct. So if you're looking on the site plan, the basement is right here.
Okay.
So actually.
And that's the part that's in good shape.
Correct. And that's the part that's
I was hoping
pretty
on
much
the other
entirely, so does the homeowner. Then it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah,
And we
really.
would have said, okay, fine, let's abandon what's there and make it all compliant.
I'm always in favor of reusing it if you can.
Right.
you know. And on that side, is that an empty lot? Am I looking at the right one? That corner.
This is all there, they have 2.64 acres.
Oh,
No, it's the next one over.
I'm looking at the wrong piece.
It's this one, the one that says East Fishkill on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one.
So there's a ton of yard behind them, but just not.
Yeah.
And you can understand why the house is where it is. And it's in line with the other houses in the area, so.
Yeah. Not that much different. On the other side, there's such narrow lots.
Right.
Sort of lines up with that one. I wonder if they're going to divide that into one time.
And I don't know how feasible actually moving it is going to be, because again, I've been told there's a lot of bedrock there.
Right.
And if they desperately, the basement that they have, all their mechanical equipment's going to be going in there. So to try and provide it, I think that's why this one is so small, is because they just kept hitting bedrock.
Is there a motion to advertise?
So are you gonna be building, are you gonna expand the basement now also?
No,
or
we're
just
gonna-
leave the basement, the 10 by 10, whatever?
Yeah,
you
the
have?
foundation and the basement, we're going to leave as much as we possibly can. If we have to repair any of it, we do have to provide, it'd be a new foundation within the existing footprint for the expansion that we're doing on the first floor. Because right now, currently, the first floor, this is the floor plan. This is the section that's there right now there, and so is this right here. So we're expanding out. They only have about 11 feet right here of living space. So
And that's the deck right now?
this right, I'm sorry.
That's the deck where your finger's going now?
The deck actually comes, it's about that big right here.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you're building the house where the deck was?
Correct.
Okay.
So our only new foundation is going to be right here.
And that's on the...
Which is right where the
Yeah,
deck already is.
okay, motion to advertise.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll see you next month.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's for the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Pam will give you the instructions for your sign.
We're getting all the tough names in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at the names on this one. Oh my gosh. All right, number 12, appeal. Oh, wait a second.
I'm not.
There is somebody in the hall, though.
I think that's the gentleman that you would ask to contact.
Okay, so is
You are?
3672?
Have a good night. I'm William Tracy.
You're William
That's the last
Tracy.
one.
And number 13.
Well, let's just call 12 and
Sure,
see,
sure.
make sure,
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
is there anybody outside? I'm
I can take a look.
Oyedeli and Andrew something. 10 Circle Drive, and I apologize, I hate mispronouncing names, but this one's a tough one.
Okay,
So let's put this on for a second call, and we'll come back to this one. Okay. So item number 13, Appeal 3673 Tracy, William and Lauren Tracy, 9 Coach Lantern Drive, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 14-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 18-foot shed pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance.
Is there anything else to review?
Oh, that's my wife doing.
There is one important component here, and the reason that Pam actually did put this on is they do have a pool permit, which is
Yes.
set to expire May 15th. So there is some urgency to getting this done so they can close out their pool permit. I gather when an inspection was done, it was discovered that this was built a little closer than it should have been. So, yes, there was...
Certainly. I'm Bill Tracy. I own the home. I am responsible for putting the shed where it was, or where it is, which I did at 28 years old. I hired a shed contractor to store my lawn mower and some other landscaping equipment from the Stormville Flea Market. He informed me that there was no CO necessary for this because it wasn't on a foundation, etc. So, I mean, the shed's beautiful, but I came to learn after the pool was constructed, and I applied for an additional permit to construct a 12 by 20 pool house next to the pool.
Right.
That permit we couldn't close that permit until
All other
the shed was rectified.
issues on the property were...
Which I then realized, oh, okay. So since then, at that time, so the pool is directly to the right of the shed. When we constructed the pool, we kind of closed off access to our backyard for heavy equipment necessary to move a shed of that size with a barn roof. And in order to keep water away from the pools, as to not pop the liner, et cetera, if excessive rainfall, we installed a trench running basically a large PVC pipe underground, pulling water away from the surrounding area of the pool and pushing it out back behind actually where our shed is. So I contacted a couple of people about moving the shed, because that was our first thought. A couple of people had informed me that pulling a shed that size, they couldn't guarantee that it wouldn't compromise the structure, because they would pull it from the side. They recommended putting poles underneath it to roll it, but they couldn't guarantee that it wouldn't damage the shed.
Right.
I explored the option of having a crane come in and lifting it, which they said they could do. It was expensive, but they could do it. Unfortunately, though, that crane would need to access the back of our yard through our neighbor's property. So that left us very little available options. My wife put together this fantastic presentation.
She did.
Absolutely. If you look behind Exhibit A, you'll see, I included an affidavit from myself, which just states out the history and why we request this variance. Exhibit A shows you photos of our house and the shed in question, and also a view from our neighbor adjacent to the line which we are asking for the variance with, as well as a view from his house. Also, our neighborhood is well populated with large evergreen trees. Getting back there with any sort of equipment would either require driving over someone's septic or leach field or removing trees that nobody wants to remove. I also included, behind B, there's an aerial shot of the house from Google Maps, as well as a annotated aerial shot with with some of my indications as to where the shed is, our leach field, and the septic, etc.
Right.
I also included statements from all the neighbors that can see the shed, one on each side of our property and the one across the street, consenting to the granting of the variances.
Maybe your wife could get a career.
Absolutely, absolutely. And she really loves this sort of thing. So when I told her we need to put together some sort of presentation, she jumped all over it.
She needs to advertise and get some business. I don't have any questions. Everything.
No, it's beautifully maintained. I think it's actually an asset to your property.
Right, yeah, we feel the same way, and so do the people surrounding us.
Motion to advertise.
Second. All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for squeezing me in on
We'll
this
see
month's
you
agenda.
next month?
Wednesday, 14th?
Yes, Wednesday. All right.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too.
Could you tell the gentleman that's still in the hall?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Sleeping.
I can't hear you. What?
Where was it? In conjunction with any principal building or use hereafter established should be provided on the same lot therewith off-street parking spaces to meet the minimum required specified off-street parking schedule.
So only if it's required to meet their off-street parking. But if they already, keep in mind, they have a lot of parking on their lot. So I'm not sure they're going to need this space per se.
I mean, there's no parking in front of the gas station.
Right.
So, yeah, but I
It's,
don't.
any parking in the front would be like a temporary, temporary kind of use.
I mean, I've parked in that spot a lot when I've gone into arranged towing or something.
Yeah,
It's not built.
right. Russ's old house.
Right.
Yeah, I know people do that.
Of course,
They do shared parking agreements. So,
Well, it's your parking, it's your
So
access.
what's the verdict?
all right, actually, we're going to call this one again. John, you're going to
Recuse.
step out again.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, so again, just for the record, we're doing a second call on Elwin Hyatt's application for a 63-foot front line and 10-foot sideline variance for a pre-existing non-conforming house built prior to 1922, located in a B1 zone, and a 10-foot front line and 530-square-foot variance for a proposed 1,280-square-foot detached garage. And so when we last left, we had some concerns about the fact that the pavement from the property next door encroaches onto this property, and you were going to inquire as to the continued use of that pavement?
I don't have an answer as of yet. I
Okay.
believe the intent is to have it there, and there's going to be some kind of agreement between the two property owners about that use,
Okay.
either through a land lease or a easement.
Okay, one of the things that the Mary Mintz, from the building department, has brought to our attention is that if this is parking that's required as part of their off-site, off-street parking, then it can't be allowed. But if it's just extra parking, then it sounds like we could make it work. But we would want to see some kind of legal
Correct.
permission in place to be able to make that happen. So,
So this is not, I mean, I don't
Yeah, I
think
mean,
it's
I
right.
think what you're gonna, another way to say this is if their site plan approval for the
Requires-
garages says that's required parking for it, then we're okay. If it's not part of the site plan that, you know, Mr. Hyde at the time just didn't care, it was his property too, and he paved over it, nobody ever made an issue of it, then there's gonna be a problem as far as clearing up this lot in terms of granting the variances. The other question I had, I don't have my book with me, but we actually have two frontages here, right? So
Yes.
do we have the proper
Yes.
setbacks? Because I keep saying sideline.
well, that's why one's,
Right.
I mean, it has two front lines.
back from 52.
because it's a state road, that's the
Correct.
difference.
That's why
it has a 10
That's the
foot.
difference, okay.
And Hosner,
And then there's it's a 40-foot setback from the
back?
town.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yep, that's why. That's why there's two front leg
So-
variances.
I think that's what you're gonna need to look, is to have them check into what the site plan is for the, I guess, Gasland Holdings, whatever it is now.
And there's different things depending on if you want to say.
I'm not sure there's anything we can do about this evening,
Okay.
in terms of scheduling a public hearing for this.
Okay.
Until this issue's really resolved, I'm just not,
I agree.
because we'd want to see some kind of, like, if the use is going to continue, we'd need to see some kind of legal agreement or something. Not that we need to see it, but we would have to know it's in place.
Okay. So we need to see that before we can move forward with the,
I think so, right? I mean,
I think so, I mean, because if it's not, if that's not permissible, then you have a problem that
Right.
has to be cleared up, and we can't just grant a partial, we have to clear up the whole property.
and if it is something, if it is required parking for the site plan for the garage, then it might need lot line realignment or something. It could be something bigger that's beyond this board's authority to approve.
There's also something automobile service facility. And you also have gasoline filling stations, so it depends on how it's being classified.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
Because
actually,
under automobile service facility, setback and landscape buffer for parking. All parking facilities shall meet the minimum parking setback and landscape requirements of 194, 116.
that means that's, you got violations on that property, which, but again, we can't allow that to continue on this property, that may be another
But
headache.
it could very well be that this isn't even being used as parking anymore, it's just a paved area. We don't know that, all
I
right?
parked there a lot of times.
is that the road cut?
Yeah, that's the road cut, and
that's
this is the
access.
parking there, and then I could go and
Yeah,
rent a
can you-
tow
we need to
truck,
get this
whatever
resolved.
from 'em, yeah.
okay. So you would need some kind of, whatever the legal agreement's going to be between the
The two owners.
two owners. Okay.
All right, because,
And it's gonna have to be, again, on one hand, it may be allowed, on the other hand, it may not be allowed at all. So that's an issue.
Mary, in terms of follow-up, can he contact you for
Sure.
discussion? If the use of this pavement needs to continue based on the continued use of the gas station, then I think, Mary, he needs to have a conversation with you as the first step in terms of what's
With so
the,
much property, I don't know how. it
again,
can
it's-
be
John's
needed for
recused, so we have a little bit of a gap here.
No parking or structure shall be placed within 10-foot buffer of side or rear. Set a side and rear landscape buffer, a suitably landscape buffer of at least 10 feet in depth shall be provided along each side, which that would be, and rear lot line, and no parking or structure shall be placed within this buffer area. But did this ever even have site plan approval? So that should have all been
Yeah, I almost wonder if this property was included in the site plan.
Yeah.
But again, those issues will have to be addressed offline, because we can't resolve it. So I'd rather suggest that you go back, iron out these issues, and then bring it back next month.
Okay.
Okay? So we'll see you again next month for another review.
All right, thank
But
you.
you'll be the first review next month.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for trying to get it resolved. All right, second call on Deborah Oyadelli and Andrew, I hate to say this, Akim Aladdin?
That's good. Just say that quickly. Keep allowed.
Seeing none, Pam,
Motion
can
to
you,
adjourn. Oh, we're gonna do
Yeah.
that?
can you please contact them?
I will. I know he had to work tonight, and he was gonna try to get his wife.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe that's.
We'll see them next month. Thank you. Motion to adjourn,
So moved, second, third.
all in favor?
Aye.
See everyone next month on Wednesday.
I got it in my electronic calendar.